Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Daniel Cross, and today I want to talk to you guys about a video that Hutch and Hex are continuing to make. It's a three-part series. He has it over on his channel, and it's a Sniping Teams Too Big is part one, and then they have one about the pro teams and growth of esports, and I believe they're going to continue it off with something else. I'm not 100% sure yet, but they sat down and they basically talk. And the one thing that I wanted to focus on was sniping teams. I don't necessarily want to talk about competitive. That's not something that I'm too big on. I like competitive gaming. You know, I'm in denial. I work for the marketing side on that team, and I like competitive gaming. It's interesting, but I don't think it's the right place to talk about growth of esports and things when I want to focus this video primarily on sniping and YouTube teams and things like that, and just kind of give you guys some advice. And hopefully a couple of you guys will listen and take a little bit of this and kind of apply it to your channels or to your particular situation, whatever it may be. But I will link their videos because I think that you guys should go watch them. It's really cool to actually listen to people who I've been watching for years talk about something like this again. I still find it interesting, and it's always kind of cool to see. I remember back in the day we used to make reply videos about other people's opinions. People would talk about CNN stuff, and I feel like I'm kind of like jumping in a time loop right now, making a video about someone else's video right now. But I wanted to discuss sniping teams being too big and kind of give you guys my thoughts and my points on that. In the video they talk about how with OpTic Gaming it started out, and you had a decent amount of people. You had about, I think it was like the original members were like 8 people, maybe max. I think there's a little bit more. I wish I could name them all, but it's been a little while. I know you can just say like Hex's brother, Hutch was even on that list. You can even say like Predator, but I think he came a little bit later. It's like Corrosive, it's like Sulfuric and a couple other guys off the top of my head. But when you talk about a team, and you can sit down and you can name some of those members, you can actually go through like the top 10 or the top 5. It becomes more personal. It becomes more focused. You can actually go, I watch this person's videos, or I watch this, I like this about him. Even D-Treats, for example, is kind of like one of those guys that inspired me to become very good at free-for-all and doing what I do now. Making gameplays like these. You're going to watch 2:30 free-for-all gameplays on Black Ops 2. I hit these, I think, a couple days ago, and something like that, you had to get it started. You have to get inspired by someone. And I definitely think that's what the OpTic team represented at the time. It shifted into something a little bit different. They conquered esports in a sense. They expanded esports insanely. Like just the level of which they're growing and how they're going about taking over esports for Call of Duty is absolutely insane. So you have to give Hex credit for what he's been doing and what his team has been doing. Not just Hex, but everyone else involved with OpTic and the organization. You guys look at what he's focused on and look at what he's accomplished. A lot of the time people like to focus on multiple things at once, and it kind of stretches them thin, and they're not able to achieve a lot of their goals. But if you look at it, he focused on the pro team. He realized that the sniping team wasn't doing enough, in his words. It wasn't something that he wanted at the time, and he decided to get rid of it. And now he's talking about potentially in the future bringing that back. That could be in a month from now, that could be in 2 years from now. You never know, but there is always an opportunity to grow on YouTube as a player, as a sniper, as whatever you want to be, even just an entertainer. And I think when it comes down to talking about teams being too big, you have to look at what we're doing now. The community has changed in a sense, and I've led teams. I've been in Darth, I've been in FaZe, I've been in I wanted to say Gamma. We gained a channel, almost 100K in like a month and a half. So there is growth to be had. It just depends on how you do it and how you go about it. And you need to understand the structures of teams. The teams now, they like to recruit so many members in order to have X amount of videos. But a lot of the time when people get into a team, they have the same faults that you see back in OpTic. It was a small roster, and they were limited by the amount of videos that they could upload, which kind of hurt the channel. They weren't doing enough. They weren't being active enough. I don't want to speak out of turn, but that's my opinion on it. And then it fell off, and then FaZe took over by coming out of the gate, uploading videos every day. They were uploading certain videos like trick shotting, things that you have never seen before, something that was original. And that really changed the community. And now you have teams that have 20, 30 people on the roster, if not more, upwards of 50. And you see upload times are still kind of slow. So I don't necessarily think it's a numbers game. I do think that if you have a larger team, you need to get the right people, because if you have the wrong people, the larger the team is, it's easier for other people who are not working hard enough to just kind of ride that wave. They're just kind of sitting there on the bench in a way. But when it comes to a smaller team, it's very hard to justify not being active. You can have personal life experiences and things like that, that affect your time and whatever else. But if you're not posting and everyone else is posting and you're the only one who's not, it's very easy to see who is slacking in a sense. So I definitely feel like a smaller team is more focused. It's definitely more personal. You can sit down and you can name all 4 players. If there's 5 of them, you know, you can go through that list. You go, oh yeah, I know of OpTic, and then you just name those 5, or I know of whatever team it is, and you can go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very memorable. It's easy to remember those players, and it's easy to look up to players like that when they are in a smaller group and they stand out more. They work together more. They stream daily. They put out content almost daily. I don't think daily content is necessarily necessary, but I definitely think that it is a benefit if you are continuously posting content that is relevant and entertaining to your subscribers instead of posting like 1 video a month, which is what you see with teams now. Even though the roster's huge, you still have 2 videos being uploaded a week for a team having 40 members. That doesn't quite sound right, but in certain situations I can definitely see how it is. But when you have a team that's more focused on what they want to accomplish together, you know, that's more friends and kind of like a family setting, you know, they treat each other in that way. They all have respect for each other. They interact with each other daily. I think that's something that's really important to have in the community and something that you could build on. You don't see it very often anymore because now let's get a group of guys together, let's post a bunch of videos, and they necessarily don't interact with each other. If you look at like old men of OpTic, those guys have been friends for ages. You need that in a younger version of a team, and I think that having that type of growth or having that support between 4 or 5 people could be huge. Now, I definitely feel that a team size that's limited, that's smaller, less than 10 people would be ideal. If you need extras, you know, I can understand why you might want a couple other people. You don't necessarily need to have a capped roster size, but I definitely think having it focused, having it picked on reasons why these people are in there, what they're doing in the future for any team, is something that's very important. A lot of the time you see players that just don't post, and I definitely think that that's because of bigger roster sizes. It's easier to hide, but outside of inactivity and things like that, just being in a group or somewhere, you know, you're working with your friends, it's a lot easier to go into a job, have a couple friends there, and you guys work together. You know, I've had jobs that in the past that I didn't like, but I like the people I worked with. That's the same way that YouTube is. If you like the people that you're working with, that you like the people that you're interacting with, it's gonna make your job or whatever task, maybe posting gameplay, getting clips, more enjoyable. And I definitely think a lot of teams don't necessarily do that anymore. It's a little bit different, but outside of that, guys, having a focused team or even bringing back OpTic Sniping in the next year and a half, however long, could be a month, could be tomorrow, I have no idea what Hex is planning. I definitely think it would be a great thing for the community in order to kind of shift the focus on what is important, what type of content people should be posting, and how they should be interacting with everyone. There's a lot of opportunities in the community now, especially with how big the community is. It's already built. It's hard to get noticed, but if you do something right now, the community's there to support you. You know, we only had a couple guys that can help promote your content. Now, if you do something that's just insane and something that's amazing, it's a lot easier to stand out in a sense if you catch a couple of their attention because they already have such a large fan base. So there is growth within sniping, there is growth within teams, there is growth within Call of Duty, especially in esports and whatever venue you kind of want to look at it. But it's just going to take some time, and it's going to take dedication on a player's part. Personally, I wouldn't wait around for someone else to kind of give you an opportunity. I would build your channel, grow your content, do something that you want to do, just continue to work, don't wait, just post what you want, and then eventually an opportunity might show up.